1 year later, and Here Comes the Pain went into Smackdown vs. Raw to show the rivalry between the two main brands on WWE at the time. Sorry. Gameplay was pretty much the same as Here Comes the Pain, except the AI seemed to be a bit shit, to be honest, in my honest opinion. They seemed to counter a lot less compared to Here Comes the Pain. They also had this dial system for some pre-match or start of the match outcomes, shove battles or first strikes, or even chop battles where you had to push X at the top to reach the max and then land it in a little safety zone or gauge to do the damage, otherwise it failed. And it was a bit inaccurate and a bit laggy, to be honest, despite it being an offline game. AI was rubbish, as you can see. I'm doing elbow drop after elbow drop. It's not like nowadays where they automatically get up after 2. Well, on the 3rd elbow drop, they would counter automatically. But if you gain your clean momentum bar, you get invulnerability doing top rope moves, taunting and all that. Or if you're a dirty guy doing illegals, holding on when it's a rope break and all that, you get low blows for an infinite amount of time. Well, 25 seconds I should say, but kills them anyway. There was a new submission system, 2 submission systems. One of them, this sort of escape reversal system, where if they get in the blue area, they escape the hold, get in the red, and they can reverse it into another submission. God, that was ingenious by THQ in that regard. Another submission was button bashing, plain and simple, but they would try and get towards the rope, and they would grab onto the rope if it happened. I wonder where we see that nowadays. Well, it was slightly different back then. You had the rope break, you couldn't escape. If you held, you could actually hold on to submissions before the 5 count, but you would get DQ'd. There was also a seated position as a new sort of clutch, which didn't really do anything, to be honest. Season mode I quite enjoyed, but the only disadvantage was assigning the attributes. Brand new created wrestler, you start off with barely anything, and if you started right at the beginning with no money and all that, it would take minutes, tens of minutes sometimes to win a match, because you would have to do hundreds of moves onto your opponent. But you could unlock certain wrestlers, you could unlock created wrestlers attribute points with those money in the shop zone. Oh yeah, Tajiri, you want a piece of me? No, I just want the bird. You could choose your own choices, and it didn't matter if you had to win or lose. Although I would suggest winning and not going for title matches, just for this. You can see the uncensored clips on my channel. Backyard Gaming, cheap plug. Anyway, there was also great cutscenes like at WrestleMania. If you didn't go for the title, or the Intercontinental title, you edge 4 elbow drop off the top. But we can't do that in the proper game, you bastards. Can't even do that in fucking 2011, you assholes. Anyway, Royal Rumble mode. Changed the system. You had this ring out system, which quite honestly is crap, especially if you played on legend difficulty, because it would take you 4 or 5 attempts to get them out the ring and it'd take them just 2. Spanking matches and bra and panties. Well, if you spanked them enough times, well, the best scene ever would happen. I mean, surely I should get a like just for this moment. Don't care if I'm talking over it, you don't need to. What was a good thing about SmackDown vs. Raw was the soundtrack. As you can see, the camera angle was slightly different as well. It was facing to you like a natural WWE broadcast. And in a Hell in a Cell match, the door was moved to that position, and you had a chair and a sledgehammer. Why we couldn't get them out of the ring, who knows. It didn't make any difference. What I found hard to not notice was chairs did a lot of adrenaline gaining. Look, 2 chair moves and I've gained the finisher. There we go, use the chair. He's fucked up in damage and all that. Now, Here Comes the Pain was known for its backstage areas at Times Square and all that. This was the only arena in SmackDown vs. Raw. And it was tiny. Okay, you had environmental grapples, like that. Or Irish whipped them into the electricity, a la Gold Dust. Gold Dust! Sorry, you need to watch the old WWE to understand that joke. There was also parking lot brawls, where you could do insane stuff like this. RKO! Oh my god, he broke his jaw, Orton. Jeez. But in the Raw arena, you actually had the announce table, where it was actually when they had the Raw broadcast there. But you couldn't do anything other than this one move, to my knowledge. And you couldn't jump on top of it. You just whipped them into the table, and this animation would happen. And you wouldn't be able to jump onto that platform again. It was kind of a waste of space, to be honest. I know Kane looks a bit glum. Ugh. Ah, dear. You could also interfere if you had a stablemate, just clicking R3, or the right thumbstick for those that aren't idiots, and you could call on your partner and he could do his finish or whatever. Create a Wrestler mode was very strict in this regard, which, unlike nowadays where you can choose where you want to go, this had a strict order. So you started with body parts, then you chose face morphing, then body morphing, which is fine if you're using a website like Game FAQs or CAW.WS, where you were gaining the formulas and all that, but it was just a bit too strict for my liking. Create an animation disappeared, gone off the face of the earth, and what replaced it was create a championship, which you can use to create championships and creating your own pay-per-views. Although according to the manual, you had to have 2 memory cards to do it. Not very nice. And of course, you needed WWE money, so you had to play season mode to use the belts, or have a good quality belt. That's for sure. For some reason, just SmackDown vs. Raw lacked so many things. It had great music, you had in-game music from bands and all that, which made it really fun. It's not great for YouTube purposes because of copyrights, but I mean, it was really good. You had 6-way matches, but some matches were missing. There was moves from Create a Moveset just completely disappeared. We lost some power bombs, despite using the same exact engine. What were THQ thinking? I don't know. But it's still fun to play, but I would still play Here Comes the Pain over this. Except for the season mode. I prefer this season mode to Here Comes the Pain. Other than that, it was alright. Did the deal. I mean, you saw Stacey in a bra and panties and having sex with Tori Wilson. I mean, that's well worth 40 quid or 60 bucks in my book. Anyway, let's just forget about that. It was an alright game, but it didn't match the par of SmackDown Here Comes the Pain. Next part will be on SmackDown vs. Raw 2006, the first of the years. Yuck. Anyway, you can subscribe to my channel Backyard Gaming to see these parts early before they go up on Machinima Sports. And Stacey in a bra and panties are on my channel.